Welcome to the second debate presented by the City Club of Cleveland in this very important election cycle. I'm Don Cairns, past president of the City Club Forum Foundation. The City Club has a great heritage of hosting debates for public office. Last fall, the citizens of Cuyahoga County voted on two propositions, Issue 5 and 6, and the overwhelming result of that election was that Cuyahoga County would chart a new course of governance. Primary among the reforms was to have a single elected executive and a separate legislative body of 11 elected representatives to provide leadership for Cuyahoga County. Last week, we hosted the debate among the Republican candidates for county executive, and today the City Club continues our look at potential county executives with the two leading candidates for the Democratic nomination. Please note that all four Democratic candidates were invited to participate in today's debate, but we did not hear from two of them. As is the City Club custom, we proceed with the candidates who did accept our invitation. Here we go face-to-face, in person, and in depth, and you, the audience and voters, will get to ask questions. Many thanks to those of you who are here and those watching and listening on IdeaStream and through our webcasts and podcasts. 60 minutes will go by very quickly, so let's proceed. We are delighted to have as our moderator for today's debate Joe Froelich. Joe is chief editorial writer for the Cleveland Plain Dealer after having been the paper's national correspondent for 12 years. He writes extensively about local and national government and politics, as well as economic development, and as you may recall, was the lead writer for the paper's Quiet Crisis series on Northeast Ohio's struggle to reinvent its economy. He writes a political notebook column which appears every Sunday. Joe?
Thank you, Don. I'm delighted to moderate this debate between the candidates running for the Democratic nomination for Cuyahoga County Executive. There are four names on the ballot, and we are delighted to welcome the two candidates who responded and are here today: Edward Fitzgerald and Terry Hamilton Brown. Mr. Fitzgerald is mayor of Lakewood, having served in that office for 3 years, and was previously a Lakewood city councilman, a congressional staff member, an FBI special agent, and an assistant Cuyahoga County prosecutor. Until she resigned to begin this campaign for county executive, Ms. Hamilton Brown was the project director for the Opportunity Corridor and has previously been a senior vice president for corporate diversity at National City Bank, president of University Circle Incorporated, executive director of the Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority, and director of community development for the city of Cleveland. The rules for the opening portion of this debate are as follows. Each candidate has a total of 8 minutes for both opening statement and rebuttal. It is their choice how they will divide the time. Again, we will hear from each of them twice in this segment, opening statements from each, then rebuttals, with a total time limit of 8 minutes for each. After the opening statement and rebuttal, I will ask a couple of follow-up questions, then we will have the traditional questions from the audience, and finally a closing question, which will be the same question for Ms. Hamilton Brown and Mr. Fitzgerald. We are very pleased to welcome the audience with us here today, and I know many of you support one or the other of these candidates. In fact, standing here in the middle is sort of like being at the DMZ looking at the markers on the tables. And we appreciate giving everyone a chance to be heard. Now, the order of presentation for the opening segment was determined by drawing a few minutes ago. Mr. Fitzgerald will present first.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you very much to the City Club for sponsoring this. It's an outstanding tradition. I'm happy to be a part of it this afternoon, so it's a privilege to speak here. I'm also a little bit relieved. I had heard a rumor that Ken Lancey had purchased exclusive rights to speak here this afternoon, so I am glad that turned out to be just a rumor. I watched the Republican debate a couple weeks ago, and I have to tell you, I have to be honest with you, I was a little bit dismayed about some of what I heard and saw there. They spent a lot of time trying to discredit the other. And even though I agreed with all of their criticisms of each other, my mission this afternoon is to talk about what our problems are, what we can do about it, what I can bring to the table. We need to be honest about something. This county is in trouble. There is a crisis, and we should not be quiet about it. There are over 62,000 unemployed people in this county right now, and that's a conservative estimate. That doesn't count everybody that's underemployed. It doesn't count everybody who's just out of school and hasn't had a chance to be employed yet. It doesn't count everybody that's working a couple different jobs and don't even have benefits. So we're in an economic crisis. Our population is stagnant in terms of population growth. We're losing young people. Did you know that 1 out of 5 of our kids that are starting kindergarten are starting significantly behind, some of them with vocabularies as low as 500 instead of 5,000, which is where they should be. So we're underperforming in that area as well. We also, unfortunately, have kind of a repetitive sickness almost in this county where we are pessimistic about the county's future. We have artificial barriers between black and white, between east side and west side, between suburban and urban. These are outdated notions. They are useless, and they are holding us back. And added to all of those problems is the fact that we are suffering from, and for the last couple of years, the worst corruption scandal in this county's history. And that's just aggravating all of the problems, because just at a period of time when we needed county government to do the most, it's been paralyzed. But the good news is that this corruption scandal is an opportunity. We have an opportunity to relaunch the county. Every single problem that I just mentioned has a solution. The good news is that we have the assets, we have the talent, we have the institutions. It is not too late. We can turn the situation around, and this election is an opportunity to do that. Let me give you 5 specific reasons why I believe we're going to be able to do that in the next 4 years. And what are the 5 things we need to do? First of all, we need to pick the right leader for this particular position. I believe I'm the right candidate because I have a 20-year record of public service, and including working on corruption investigations during my time with the FBI, which were almost identical to what the county is facing right now. I've worked as a local legislator on the local level as a council person for 9 years. I've worked as a chief executive of the second largest suburb in the county with a $100 million budget. We redesigned city government. We lowered crime. We made city government more efficient, more effective, more responsive. We could do the same thing at the county level. Second thing we need to do, we need to not just cut county government, we need to redesign it. It needs to be more effective. It needs to be data-driven. We need to reward excellence. We need Cuyahoga County to be a place where people are proud to work there, and for constituents that they're proud of the service that they receive from county government. Third, we need to preserve first-class human services in this county, particularly in regards to children. You know, studies show that for every dollar that is invested in a child's life before the age of 5, there's as much of an economic return of anywhere from $7 to $17. So we need to reaffirm that commitment and expand that commitment because it's both a moral responsibility, but it also makes economic common sense. Fourth, we have to get serious about creating jobs. We have got to put people back to work in this county. You know, to say there are 62,000 unemployed is almost a sterile statistic. It doesn't talk about the human cost there. It doesn't talk about how many foreclosures that creates, how many college educations were deferred because of a loss of jobs, how many people deferred getting the medical care that they need because they had lost a job. And I proposed a program which will create a $100 million economic jobs program for this county that I think can really help turn things around. And fifth, we've got to stop competing against each other and start competing against the world. We have 59 different municipalities in this county.